Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Hope you're well. May the code be with you. Hope you're all having fun. Welcome, and we're happy you joined us to learn more about the cyber robotics coding competition and how it works. So today we're going to spend most of our time talking about the back end of the system and how to administer your school, your class, and we've got our competition master, Trevor. I'm going to share some slides quickly, and then we'll hand over to Trevor. Okay, so this is exciting. We're working hard to get everything set up here, and stuff is looking really good. Yes, we'll be going for about 40 minutes, and we'll answer questions as we go. And at the end, if you have any questions, put them into the questions tab or the chat tab, and we'll see them as we go. We'll answer some of them on the fly, and some of them we'll keep to answer in person at the end. If we do run out of time, which is unlikely, we'll post the answers to everyone by email. The webinar will be recorded, so pass the link on to your colleagues, and they can see this at their convenience. The previous webinar is also recorded. If you go to the website, gocodaz.com/compete, there's a link there that takes you to the last recording. And so if you didn't get the email with the recording, you'll find it there. I will post there also the slides from the last webinar. I'm going to do that today, so you'll be able to find that there. And later today, this webinar will be up there as well as soon as the recording process. It usually takes about an hour. How can you help to expand CRCC? And as I've said last time we met, this is really important. The more people we get on board, the more fun everyone is going to have, and the more exciting it's going to be for the teachers and for the students and for the schools and the parents, administrators, and everyone else. Tell other teachers. Get your whole school engaged. If you're a class and you want to expand, talk to us. We'll expand it. Let's get everyone involved. Challenge your colleagues. Call your friends who you've met at conferences, at local meetings, or that you went to school with, and tell them about CRCC and challenge them to bring their classes to the competition and to compete against your class. Share the experience. That's the most important thing, whether it be directly or through social media. CRCC for All on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, tweet, share, post. The more you do, the more people are going to hear about CRCC, and it's crunch time right now. We need to get everyone signed up and ready because the bootcamp starts really soon. I'm going to hand over to Trevor, and Trevor will talk for a while about the competition, and then, as I said at the end, we will take questions.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our second installment of our CRCC webinar series. For this training, we're going to talk about a teacher basic training webinar for the Cyber Robotics Coding Competition, the CRCC. My name is Trevor Pope. I am the CRCC Competition Master. My goal today is to provide administrator and teacher level training to ensure you are properly prepared with the knowledge and support materials available to manage your classrooms. Please feel free to post questions via the questions or chat field, and I'll leave some time at the end to address these. Here's what I'd like to cover. Let's talk about account types. There are 3 account types in the system. Number 1 is an organizational administrator. This is a new account that we've unleashed for this year, or this version this year. We'll talk about the roles and responsibilities of that org admin, as well as a teacher account role. What the role of the teacher is, what their responsibilities are, and we'll talk about the student's role, as well as how to manage or properly manage the account from the teacher's perspective. Sound like fun? Hope so. All right, account types. So CRCC is all about inclusiveness and accessibility to all. For previous competitions, we've invited a single teacher to enroll your entire school into CRCC and have placed the responsibility on this teacher to recruit your administration, to recruit additional teachers, to get more and more students to participate. These are all great things, and we still ask the teacher to handle the classroom management of these additional teachers and students, making sure that everything is set up. This is a lot of responsibility for the teacher. So the solution we created was to allow multiple teacher accounts per school or per organization. To do this, we created an organizational administrator or org admin account. The role of an org admin is to recruit and add new teachers to your school or organization participating in CRCC. This org admin role was provided to the individual at your school or organization who initially registered for CRCC. So whoever filled out that CRCC registration form is by default the org admin of your school. The role of a teacher account is to add classes and enroll students. Yes, an org admin can also have a teacher account. They're two separate things, two separate roles and responsibilities, and the org admin can have dual roles of the administrator as well as the teacher account. And thirdly is the role of a student. The role of a student is to participate in CRCC, and I'll provide additional details on all of these roles as we get further along in the presentation. So once your registration has been confirmed and activated by the CoderZ team, you will receive an email from CoderZ that looks like this. If you have not received this email or have not performed the steps shown, then you do not have an active CRCC account. If you need help, please reach out via email or telephone for our support team to research and figure out where you fell through the cracks. You will need to click, in this email that you receive, you will need to click this link where it says follow this link to activate your account. Even if you don't need to use this org admin account features, you still need to click this link to activate the org admin account, as this is how your teacher account is also created. Your org admin will log in to this website shown as manager.gocoderz.com. Here, enter the username associated with your CRCC account. That's a username you created when you registered, as well as the password associated with your CRCC account. Again, these were when you completed that registration form. You entered your email, you entered a password. These are now your username and password for the CoderZ Manager account. When you get here, after you do that, make sure you click the Login with CoderZ icon. This is going to log in with a CoderZ account. You do not want to click this sign in. You do want to use this login with CoderZ. Once you're logged in, you'll see a screen very similar to this. On the top left is going to be the teacher seats. By default, we made 35 teacher seats available. If you need more, certainly reach out to our team. We can activate more. And student seats. If you purchase the class registration, your student seats is limited to 35. If you purchase the school registration, your student seats is set at 1,000. And again, if you do need more than 1,000 student seats, certainly reach out and let our team know. We can accommodate that. It also contains license information. Everyone's license is expected to expire after the CRCC competition ends. You will also see the number of active users. So this is the number of teachers and students that are currently active in your system. This dashboard also has a link to your CRCC account or Go CoderZ. So if you wanted to go directly to your CoderZ account, you can click this icon here, go to CoderZ. Down here on the bottom half of the screen is a list of teachers created. So automatically, when you log into this org admin account, it's going to create a teacher account for your profile with 35 student seats for that particular teacher. You can go in and edit this if you need to. But if this is the only account, if you're only going to be one teacher participating in CRCC, there's no need to go any further and create additional teachers. But instead of me showing you this screen here, I think it's probably better for me to actually show you in how it actually works in people or works on the real screen or on the real manager account. So again, this is my CoderZ manager account. This is my login for my existing teacher account or existing manager account and password. This is the one I created when I registered for CRCC. I'm going to click this login with CoderZ button. This is going to bring me to my CoderZ manager account. Again, here I can see the teacher seats used, the number of student seats used, my license information. And I also have a list of teachers. So the first teacher was Jim Henson, that's me. This is the teacher that's automatically created when your CRCC account is created. If you do want to add more teachers or invite more teachers, you can click on this Add Teachers icon. Give your teacher a name. Here is a number of seats. Again, your manager account for a school was allocated 1,000 seats. So however many of those 1,000 seats you want to distribute to this teacher, you can do so here. And then any notes you want to add. This is just for your reference to see, make any notes. And then click this add teacher down at the bottom. What's going to happen is the teacher is going to be sent an activation email. You can see the email address here. That's not a real email, but that would go to your teacher, as well as creates this activation URL. This is the teacher. This URL is for the teacher. It is sent in this activation email for them to activate their account. So they'll need to go into their email. There'll be an activation link there for the teacher to click on this link, and that's how their account will be created here in the system. So as I say, okay, I'm now back here on my, let me see, I go back to my dashboard here. I can see my list of teachers, and I've got barbecue here as a teacher, now active in the list with 1,000 student seats. To add more teachers, it's simply this add a teacher icon here. So continue this process, repeat this add a teacher for all the teachers in your organization that you want to add, and allocate students to those teachers. If for whatever reason you do need to edit an existing teacher, you can click on that teacher name, or the ID number to the left of the teacher name, I should say. Here you can reset an account activation email. You can reset their password here with this password regenerate link. You can edit the user information if you do need to change their name or information in the system. Any of these fields that are grayed out are not changeable. You can reset the password here if you check this box and enter the new password you want to give them, provide to them, as well as edit the number of student seats that this particular teacher has. Once you make those changes that you like, hit save if you're happy, hit cancel if you're not happy and want to go back. All of this information is available in our CoderZ knowledge base. If you go to coderz.zendesk.com /HC, that stands for Help Center, there is a bunch of knowledge base articles on those things I just described. So there's an article on how to activate your organizational admin account, how to add a new teacher account, how to view your existing user list, as well as how to reset your password. So again, that's pretty much the role of an org admin. Again, just to create teachers, allocate those student seats. The org admin is not managing teachers, or not, excuse me, they are managing teachers. They are not managing students, and they are not managing classes. That's all done from a teacher profile or a teacher's perspective. So let's talk about that CRCC teacher account and that teacher role. The role, a teacher has two roles in the system. One is to manage the classroom. The other is to manage students. Teachers can create and manage classes. There's an unlimited amount of classes that you can create, and classes are defined with a maximum of 35 students per class. Teachers can monitor student progress using heat maps, as well as promote CRCC by displaying class leaderboards. Teachers will also manage students by enrolling them into CRCC. Teachers can view student usernames and reset passwords, as well as deactivate any unnecessary or duplicate accounts. Teachers will be logging in to this website here, play.gocoderz.com. If you are the org admin and are logged into your org admin account, there is this icon here at the upper right that says go to CoderZ. That will take your org admin credentials and automatically log you right into CoderZ. But if you're not in there, you will need to go to the website play.gocoderz.com and enter your username and credentials. So again, that's your email associated with your CRCC account. That's the email that the org admin emailed to, asking you to activate your account. And then the password, the teacher would have created this password as they activated or created their CRCC accounts. Teachers also do have the ability to sign in with Google. So if you do have a Google single sign-on or a Google account, you can use this sign in with Google icon to remember your username and password and automatically sign you in. here. Again, this is my manager account here. I can click on this Go Coder Z. It will launch me, bring me right into Coder Z. You can also go to play.gocoderz.com. That'll bring you to your login screen, which is here. So here, enter your username associated with your CRCC account, your password, and click Login. You'll notice here I get this pop-up window. This is for any Coder Z user in the classroom. So if you do have a Coder Z classroom or Coder Z Learn package for your school and are using that same email address, we will recognize that you do have dual accounts or duplicate accounts in the system. And here's where we show you this pop-up saying, okay, we found multiple accounts in the system. Do you want to go to your Coder Z Learn account, your classroom account, or do you want to enter the fall 2019? And it'll show your state here, CRCC competition. So here I am going to select CRCC. Here's what you'll see here is CRCC. These are the mission packs associated with CRCC. As I click these, you'll see that these are the various missions. Right now they're all locked because CRCC has not started. We'll get into that in a little further here. But to set up and organize or create your classes, it's a matter of clicking on this Your Classes or My Classes icon. And as I do this, this shows existing classes that I have. This flyout arrow here, as I click that, that will show any existing classes. If you do not have any classes, it'll automatically take you to this Add a New Class feature. So to add a new class, it's a matter of clicking this icon here, giving it a great name. Now here you can separate this either by class, you can separate by grade level if you wanted all of your 6th graders or all your 7th graders in a particular class, you can do it that way. Again, you can do it by period, you can do it by blocks. This is how you want to manage your classroom, how you want to manage all of the students in CRCC. So giving it a class name, giving it a description. Brought to you by the letter D, and it automatically generates a class code. This class code is automatically generated by the system. It's unique for this particular class I'm setting. If for whatever reason you don't like it or want to change it, you can hit these dice here to the right of the name and enter this class code here, or it gives you this class code here. So remember that, jot that down on a Post-it, not necessarily this one, but when you create your classes, jot these class codes down on your Post-its. That is how you're going to enroll these students into the class. Here I'm going to hit next, where it asks me for a course name. This course name or course selection is where I'm selecting the courses available. You guys are only going to have CRCC, so this is you're only enrolling to the CRCC course, as well as this progress type down at the bottom here is all going to be grayed out. So the packs will be unlocked by the CRCC management team, so you don't have to worry about how students are progressing through those. We are going to manage that and automatically unlock the specific packs inside this CRCC course. So when you get here, just click next. And here is how you can enroll students. You can, if you're using a chat feature in your classroom, some way to deploy this link from your manager account or teacher account to the student computers, you can copy and paste this link. You can use this class code Lima Dice. Again, write this down on a Post-it. You'll share that with students later as they get into class. Or if you wanted to email each individual student, you can do that as well by entering their email addresses here. This will send the students an email saying Jim Henson or the teacher name has invited you to join this CRCC class. Click this link to create your account. So let's talk about enrolling students, how they're going to get into the system here. So I'm actually going to log out of my CRCC account. Students, again, as well as teachers, are all going to go to play.gocoderz.com, this URL, this web browser. It does need to be loaded or opened in Chrome. It's the only supported browser at this time. Here, you're going to click on this Join a Class. and enter the class code that was provided. I forget the one that I just generated, but I did have one here in my notes here, which is for a different class that I've got set up, but you can see the process. Once you enter that class code, hit go. Here the students should see, you take note here, you should see your teacher's name or your name here in this join teacher name class. This is kind of a trigger for you to make sure that the students are going or getting to the right class. If you see some other teacher, they've entered the wrong class code and are going to be placed into the wrong class here. So here you want to enter a username. Enter a grade from the flyout arrow. Select a password. Oh, I'm getting, it won't let me hit next here because I've got an X here. It's not letting me select this Chicken Little username. Somebody's already using it, so I'm just gonna add a little underscore there into the name. Usernames can't have spaces in there, which was my issue. So, well, once everything looks good, I've got to check here, this username is available. I've entered my information, I can hit next. Asks for my age. Here and my name, I would ask that students use, or have you make sure students use their real names here. Gender is optional. You can select male, female, or whichever one you identify with or prefer not to answer. And enjoy our terms of service and enter the login. This will log the students right into CoderZ and start them right into the Getting Started mission. I'm starting the tour now, or the Getting Started tour for CRCC. So that'll be here under my student profile. As I log in, let me log out of Chicken Little here and log in as my teacher account, which is here. I'm going to log into CRCC. And here, if I go to my classes, I entered Chicken Little into this class here that I created earlier. So the question is, what happens if a student, or the next question that I'm sure I'm going to be asked is, what if a student is under 13 years old? I've got 6th graders, I've got 5th graders, they're under 13. What do I do? How do I enroll them? Again, we ask for their student's age upon registration. If somebody is under 13 years old, I'm going to enter my legal disclaimer here. So CoderZ is in compliance with all of the COPA and FERPA federal laws. So if we do ask for a student to create a username, a password, and we do require the student's age be entered upon registration. If any registrants are under 13 years old, so 12 and under, we ask for a valid parent or guardian email address. And we're going to send the activation link to that parent or guardian. The activation link will allow the parent to continue with that registration process. So the parent will then enter the student name and their information, or the parent can deny consent. Now, if a parent denies consent, we're okay with that. Any under 13 students will still be allowed to participate in CRCC, but we're not going to collect any personal information from them. So any under 13 users will be shown as anonymous on all class lists and all leaderboard until parental consent is provided. So they'll still be able to log in with their existing username, their existing password. It's just on all leaderboard links, they'll be shown up as anonymous until that consent is approved by a parent or guardian. We do ask for a student's email address upon registration on the registration screen. It is only used to reset a password. So if the student does lose their password on that login screen, there is a click here to reset your password. So that'll automatically reset or send them the email to reset their password. It's not used for any other information. If you or your administration or school does need more information, that can be found on our privacy policy here at these links. Privacy policy, our terms of service, as well as our FERPA and COPA policies are all on the website here. And legal disclaimer. So again, any under 13 students, they'll enter their age. We ask them to enter their parent or guardian name, as well as the email of their parent or guardian. Again, we're going to automatically send an email to that parent, and the student can next anonymously log in to CoderZ. They're still put in your class. It's just you're going to see them as anonymous. This is a copy of the email that the parent will receive. Dear Mr. Frog, your child was invited to Jim Henson's CRCC Learn to STEM program, and we need your approval. So the parent will then click this link to continue activation, continue the registration process for that student. As a student logs in, I did mention that they automatically get deposited into this Getting Started account, where they go through 3 practice activities, teaching them how to use CRCC, how to click blocks together, pretty basic stuff. Takes them all of 5 to 10 minutes or so. Bootcamp will be opened or launched to students. This again will automatically unlock by our team at midnight when students get to school first thing on this Monday morning. This will be active and available to them. That is going to be open and available. The bootcamp missions will still be open. However, all of the leaderboards are locked. So the statewide leaderboards that we're looking at are going to be locked. So any updated scores will not count as part of their school scores, but the missions will still be available if the student does want to go in there and continue on with bootcamp. So again, at midnight, we'll transition from the bootcamp to the competition stays. This again opens at midnight. At any time during the competition, we may open up some surprise missions here. We've got a couple in mind, a couple in the planning stages where we're excited to show you. We introduced this last year with what we call the domino challenge, where the robot would drive around and you could actually place a trail of dominoes behind you and you write code to have the robot move and navigate and make a trail of dominoes and then turn around and knock those dominoes down. It's pretty neat to see. So we've got, we may release the domino challenge again with some added features to it. There may be some additional features or surprise missions, I should say, for potentially any upcoming holidays that may fall somewhere in the realm of the CRCC 6 weeks program here. Qualifiers will open, so this will be unlocked. This will run till November. We're going to lock all of these school leaderboards, and here's where our CRCC team is going to determine who earned invitations to the finals. That's going to be based on school scores. That's going to be based on class scores. That's also going to be based on individual scores. Those are all going to be kind of proportionally distributed to each one of those 3 demographics, and then we'll extend invitations to your teachers or the teachers at the school with information that you are invited to the finals. I hope you all do get an invitation. I hope we have room for everybody at each one of these state finals that we're hosting. This in-school finals is a new feature that we've unlocked for this year, or made available for this year. In the past, we've had teachers say, well, I had 30 kids in my class, I had 100 kids in my class, and I've been allocated 5 or 4 at the state finals. I don't know who to bring. I don't know what to do. It's tough for me. How do I choose the best 4 out of the entire school? So we heard you. We understood that was definitely a challenge for a teacher to kind of pick the best qualified students to do that. And one way to instead of arbitrarily choosing students, we're allowing you to create this in-school finals. You can run this in-school finals anytime in this window. The finals will take approximately 2 hours to run. You'll need to schedule a date and time in this window, and your entire school, or the entire group that you want to participate, will participate all at the same time. So this is a one-time event that's going to happen one time in this window. You guys decide what date, you guys decide what time, and you'll have your students sit down like a SAT testing almost, where they're all in a room and they can run this in-school finals, and you guys can determine who your winners are for the entire school. You can do it for the classroom, kind of figure out your best students who you might want to bring to the actual state finals. Should you be extended an invitation. Let's look at some teacher management features here. Under your teacher account, you will be able to see progress or heat maps under the student name. So as you click on your class name, you'll be able to see each one of your students enrolled in the class, as well as this heat map of how well the students have done. Anything green means the student has done really well. Anything in this yellow category means they've done in an average range. This red means they have done poorly. They've done below a class average or scored 0. If you see any gray, that means that the student has opened up the mission, looked at it, and decided not to attempt it. They didn't even write any code. They just opened it, looked at it, and moved on. And the yellow blocks mean that they have not even opened them. Sorry, the white means they have not even opened it. So in this case, if you look at Kermit the Frog's account, he did this first mission, did good, got a good score. He then skipped this next mission. He opened it, looked at it, and said, I'm not going to do it. And then the next 6 missions here, however many there are, 7 missions, he didn't even open, didn't even look at, and then went into this mission here, got an average score, and kind of continued on from there. So this student has skipped a couple of missions somewhere along the way. Again, you can see that in the under your teacher profile. And again, instead of me showing you here on this PowerPoint, I'm going to actually show you under the teacher account. So let me log in under this. Here I'm going to go to my CoderZ account. The heat maps will be the same, but for CoderZ or CRCC, but I got more populated information here under this account, which may be easier or more accessible to show you here. So here, let me click on my class, which is my Muppet Show class. It shows all of the students in this class. Again, this is the heat map that you can see from the students as they progress through, and these will populate this line. It'll get further and further down the line. These are all of the missions available. This will start with boot camp. It'll move into qualifiers, and you'll see getting started. You'll see boot camp. You'll see competition, and you will see qualifiers here as well as the various stages that you can open up and take a look at. Again, it shows the student progress. So each one of these green squares, if you click on that with your mouse, it shows the student name, their overall score in this mission, the time that the student has spent in this mission, and the number of attempts that they've made. So the number of simulations that they've actually run before they got this score. You can take a look at the green or the yellow ones here, showing the average score. Again, the time they spent in the mission, the number of attempts. And the red is a poor score. In this case, Miss Piggy opened the simulation. She wrote some code. She didn't actually run the code because you would see a number of attempts here. Here you can also see under this icon here, you can see a scoreboard. This is going to be your class leaderboard. So as you click this, it's going to show all of the classes that you've got set up under your teacher name. Here I've got 5 classes, so as I click the class, and I guess it shows your classes as well as the total score for that class. So if you did want to make this competitive of class against class, period 1 against period 3, or your 6th graders against 7th graders, you can see these various class names here. And as I click on the class, it's going to open that up and show individual students on the leaderboard. Here is where you can see the individual student performance, who is doing really well in the class, who may need a little push, may need a little guidance, kind of lower on the scale. One thing I've seen teachers do is as the class comes into the classroom, the teacher will log into their account. They will open up this leaderboard screen and project it on the smartboard, or use the projector to project it on the wall, and show the students' names as they're actually going through the class and going through the coding. It's pretty cool to see or stand in the back of the classroom and actually watch that, because the students will go through, they'll do their missions. As they hit that target or as they complete the mission, you'll see them get up out of their chair, they go to the front of the classroom, they watch their name pop up a couple of spots on the leaderboard, and then they run back to their seat and start on the next one. So it's really cool to see. It's great to see that engagement level and that competitive aspect of the students, how they want to achieve, they want to strive to do better and do more. Just a couple of notes here. To the right of the student name, you can see their avatar, their profile. To the right of their name, they may have this little icon here. This is a badge. So as a student completes various packs within CRCC, they may get a badge to the right of their name on their profile that they can see. All right, so let's talk about the student perspective for a second. So once the student has created their accounts, they've gone through, they entered the class code to create their own username and password. They're going to go back to this screen on play.gocoderz.com, and here they're going to enter their username. That's the username that they've created, as well as their password, and then hit this login button. And again, if you are using a Google Google Classroom, Google accounts, you can have them log in with this single sign-on, Google single sign-on to use their existing credentials to log in. Sounds simple, right? I'm hearing a nod of no's. This is what's going to happen when students go away for the weekend, come back in on Monday, and you tell them to log into CRCC, and you're going to get you're going to see a classroom full of hand raised of students that say, help, I can't log in. What do I do? I forgot my username. I forgot my password. Here, under your teacher account, if you go to My Classes, and you'll see your class list here. Again, you can click the fly out arrow here to show your specific classes. So click on that class name. Watch as I hover my mouse over the student name, you can see it pops up with a username. So if a student does forget their username, you can hover your mouse over their name here in your class roster, and you'll be able to see their username. So you'll be able to tell Kermit, hey, here, your username is Kermit the Frog. I can see it right here. You should be able to remember your password. If you don't remember your password, then as the teacher, you can click on this student profile. And up here, you get these 3 dots here. These will allow you to reset that student password. So here I can reset Kermit's password, make it Kermit123 or CoderZ123 or something easy for them and you to remember for the next time. You also have the ability in this menu to deactivate a student. If you did find a student happened to create 2 usernames for whatever reason, they logged in using the class code and then forgot their credentials and said, oh, I'm just going to make a whole new account. You can go and deactivate particular student accounts that you see in the list. You can also move a student from class A to class B. So if you've got a 6th grade and 7th grade class or a period A, period B class, you can move the students between those particular classes. If you did deactivate a student, what's going to happen here is as I click my class list, I hope I have one here, you'll see that a student is grayed out. So if you notice down here at the bottom, Sam Eagle is grayed out. That means that student is deactivated. As I click that student name, you'll see it deactivated here under their name. The management software, the heat maps, all of their information still is retained under your account. So all of their information is saved. However, this student will no longer be able to log in. It's deactivated, it's kind of removed as an active account. But again, you can see all of their work, everything that they've done. This also, by deactivating a student, reallocates that license. So if you have a classroom of 35 seats and you're using all 35 seats, and you find a student has created 2 or 3 usernames, you can deactivate their 2nd and 3rd one that they made inadvertently, and that will free up those 2 user seats or 2 seats to allow you to reuse those for real students that are in the class. So that is a quick crash course overview of our CRCC management features, the org admin features, how to go in there and create accounts for your org admin, how to create teacher accounts, how to create classes, how to get students involved, how to get them enrolled, and then student management, seeing their usernames here, again, resetting passwords, how to move students from one class to another, deactivating a student. So thank you very much for your time, everybody. I am extremely excited. We're into the teens. I think we're at 19 days before we open up Bootcamp. This will be our 3rd year running CRCC. I'm extremely excited to move forward with this year. And again, it's great to see a lot of familiar schools returning for another year. It's great to see a whole bunch of new schools who have heard about us. I think we have registration from close to 30 different states, if you can believe that. Registrations in 30 different states all over the US. So that's great to see. So thanks. I'm excited. I can't wait to interact with all of you somewhere here in the future, whether it's online, whether it's through phones, through email, through CoderZ, or live in person at a finals. So thanks again for your time. I'll hand it back over to Graham, and we'll open this up to questions and kind of answer specific questions that you have. Thanks.
Thanks, Trevor. We're on the screen. So there are a bunch of questions here. I'm just going through them with Trevor as we're talking live. Can a parent use the email address for more than one child? Yes. Can I split up a class license of 35 into 2 teachers, one with a class of say 15, the other with a class of rating 20 seats? Sure, you got to contact us with that, because the class license is essentially for a single teacher. So we would have to adjust that and set that up for you.
Yeah, David, we can do that for you. We need to set something up here on our side, or just add a second teacher account to your org admin. We can certainly do that. So email me, tpope@intellitech.com, and remind me of this question. I'll be glad to set that up for you and let you know when it's ready.
I mean, in essence, the concept is numbers based. So a class license is designed for a team, or a after school program, or a single class. And the 35 number was sort of an arbitrary number that we thought was the top of a class size. We realized that may be different in some schools. We would be okay with having 1 or 2 classes under that, but obviously not 4 classes under one class license. That's what the objective of getting a school license. The next question is around, can we have more than one teacher access the same class? And there it's a little bit more complex, because one teacher is the administrator of the class. You could do that, just you'd probably have to share the password for that teacher. Does each teacher need their own separate email address? Would be able to act as 3 teachers under the school admin? Yes, you can. A teacher can have multiple classes. And so with one login, a teacher in a school can create multiple different classes and administer all of those different classes underneath the school org admin. When Trevor showed that, he created a teacher, actually put 100 students in there. That's allowing for 3 classes, because from our perspective, the maximum per class is 35. I think that the system won't let you put more than 35 in an individual class, but a teacher can have more than one class. If invited to state finals, and we did school finals with the total 2 students from the entire school who could attend the state finals, the attendance at the state finals is 100% dependent on the size of the facility and the number of schools involved in the state. So in last year, for example, there were states where we invited 2 students from each school. There were other states where we had a bigger facility and possibly less schools, and so we invited 2 teams from each school. We also look at the performance of every of the teams. If there's one school that has done amazingly well and another one that's kind of mediocre, we would prefer to have 2 teams from the amazing school than 1 from each. So we take that into account, and if we have the space, we will invite as many teams as possible from each school. So there's possibilities in some states that we have 4 or 5 teams from each school.
We also look at the other side of that spectrum, where we look at the small clubs and small organizations, and if we do see a couple of students excelling from a small organization, we may extend an invitation out to 2 students from that organization, or 1 student from that organization to attend the state finals. So it's all based on number 1, how many seats are available at the state finals, and then we distribute those evenly as much as possible throughout the various aspects of things, whether it's a large school with a lot of students, whether it's a medium-sized school with students that are doing well, or just a small club.
And then the next question is around if the students are organized in classes by grade, can all the teachers see all the students? And within the school, the actual Codazy login, each teacher can see only the students in their class. So you couldn't see the other classes, but there is going to be the state leaderboard, and on the state leaderboard, you'll be able to see each class. So you'll be able to see what the 8th graders are doing against the 10th graders, even if they have different teachers, but on a class level, not on an individual student level. That's something we'd like to do, and if we can get that up and running, we would have a in-school leaderboard. Right now, the in-school leaderboard is only going to work for the in-school finals. We're looking at potentially expanding that to the competition as well, so there'll be a URL that all teachers can go to, and it'll only be internal in the school. If we're bypassing teachers, is it better for the admin to sign up all students? Well, no, because the competition is based around the scoring of classes. So if a class would not be allowed to be an entire school. So the the school org admin can create 20 classes as a teacher and put different students into each class, but they won't be able to create one class and put all the students into the school in that one class, because that would create an unfair advantage for the school. And that's why we're basing the scoring around class scoring and not the total for the school. We'll look at the total for the school, but the classes are what counts. What if we want to create class periods under one teacher? You can do that. As I said, you can have multiple classes under each teacher. You just got to make sure that your school org admin assigns you enough seats so that you can create those. What is the difference between the competition and qualifiers round? The competition, the boot camp round is the learning phase. There is a point system, but in the boot camp, we're looking mainly at participation, diversity, and activity. The score from the boot camp does not carry over. The qualifiers, sorry, the competition is the real thing. It's where the competition starts. The first phase is the competition phase. It's a little easier. There are some hints and tips still in that phase, and the scoring in that section is important. The qualifiers is the last section. The scoring there is more important. Once again, some of the score from the competition phase carries over. So there's a kicker, if you want, of having more students and more score in the competition phase to help you get score in the qualifiers phase. But we split it up really because teachers felt that the length of the sections was too long, and some schools finished it really quickly and others started too late, and so we split it up into 3 separate sections. We ran this in one of the competitions earlier this year in West Virginia. It had success. We saw a lot more motivation amongst the students because they could complete more of the missions and show up better on the scoreboard, and so we've carried this over to the 2018 season. Will there be an opportunity for students to practice between qualifiers and finals? Yes. The system remains open. They'll be able to go back and run the missions or complete unfinished missions, start from scratch. The score won't count. At that point, the leaderboard will be locked, but they will be able to go into the system and do as much as they want on the missions that they have there. It's a good point, and possibly we may find a really complex mission that we can throw in there as an add-on and let people have a really tough practice mission if you want. Time-wise, we have the teacher orientation webinar. We've talked about, we've got another webinar next Thursday. Boot camp starts up, so get your teams ready, start inviting your students, get them to log in. We're seeing the numbers slowly rise. We've seen more teachers getting set up. We've seen students getting set up in the system, and that's great. We're putting things together, and we will keep putting out information about where to find leaderboards and so on and so forth. Everything's moving forward on track. In the upcoming webinar, 2 p.m., we'll be talking about Code Z itself. So we'll cover things like basic navigation, sensors, smart blocks, duplicating blocks, repeat loops. We'll give you the technical know-how that will put you in a position to mentor and guide your students if they run into any issues, and put you in a position where you understand exactly what they're going to be going through. And so that should be really fun.
And we will talk about scoring as well. We'll take some time to talk about how we're doing the leaderboards and how those will be scored, what we're looking for.
The last slide again is all the contact details. You can download this off the website. I will put it up in the next couple of hours, so you'll be able to find it on that page. There's links to the recording, and there's links to these webinars, and that is pretty much the end of our time. So be well. May the code be with you. And we look forward to seeing you soon.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.